Greetings everyone, please give me a moment to make sure everything's set on up. Looks like everything's booted on up. Give me a moment to activate live chat windows. And looks like everything's online. I do have a replay submitting to me, but I'll do that 1 second. Right now, I need my voice a little bit warm up. Right now, it's a little bit scratchy at the moment, so probably need to get some drinks. Howdy! Please give me a moment to make sure so I can get everything set on up. Running a little bit late today. And looks like everything's good to go. Good to go. Got a drink next to me, and I think everything's actually good to go. So let's go ahead and get started. Greetings everyone, and Great here for another Advanced Wars Days of Ruin Tiny Wars replay. Spawn top right side as the blue Tabata. We got Olomi. Spawn bottom left side as the turquoise or teal Snowwind. We got Ari 32. When it comes to the COs, Snowwind is a custom CO. Standard boarding cost, only one raise, 30-60-60. Snowwind's effectively is a paratrooper CO. Just keep that in mind. All units get 1 health recovery, and all field ammo recovered in the CO beginning of each turn. All unloaded units in the CO zone, so it's effectively a early APC, but a little bit better as it starts expanding. Air units and air units only get +30/+30, very nice. And for your first infantry, allows you to forward deploy your first infantry or mech, and you task on which base you want to use that. Check description, but effectively you can forward deploy an infantry or mech. She does have both a power and superpower, both cost 6, so choose one. All units get 1 health recovery, fuel and ammo as well. All air units get +30/+30. And you get yourself a black bomb here to fire off at any location. Or you can deploy out all units unweighted around your CO zone. Of course, you get 1 deployment per forward, deployment. So you can either forward deploy an army or fire off a black bomb. Both are situational. This is Fog of War, so probably forward deploy the army. Top is of course unchanged, the cartridge counterpart. Standard boarding cost is 0 radius, 30-60-60. All units CO zone get +60/+60, and for superpower you get Sturm's Meteor. I believe it follows all the same tendencies as well for targeting, so let's get started. This is a 3-base map, 1 airport, technically 3 seaports. Though even if there's 3 seaports on the map, I've only ever seen gunboats at most, occasionally landers. Never a battleship or aircraft carrier. You do see the no production symbol here for Snowwind that indicates her forward deployed aspect. As long as one of those has those aspect on the field, she cannot forward deploy anything. It's not come to see her go for an early CO unit there, because you can forward deploy an infantry unit there. It did cost her deployment of the other base though. Let's see how well this goes. Does allow to start pushing forward quickly with her infantry. She may be the best CO for mechs as well. A decent amount of infantry, of course, employed in the field who do have a base skip. Could not afford any more infantries. She probably is going to load herself up to a tank. That's pretty standard. Though Snowwood can forward deploy the mech, help deal with that. So my other computer messing up a little bit. We do have a tank there. She does commit double base skip to get this tank. She's probably going to CO it and try to get a good amount of power charge. Snowwind's very heavy infantry, so there's a lot of good targets for Tabata to get some power charge going. We do have an infantry mech and bike. Does seal her tank there. Only has 2,500 remaining. So pick a base for an infantry unit there. So another double base skip. Did forward deploy the infantry there, so it can go up to this point here. If it would have forward deployed to either of these points, it would have gone to here. Tabata's charging her tank forward. A lot of free targets in front of her. We got triple bike there. We do have a tank down here by Snowwind as well. But Tabata's tank's going to have a good number of turns to work with. Won't be able to get any shots off. Needs a spotter, but nothing range to spot. Additionally, one thing's not going to be really enough to deal with Tabata's command tank. Though there are 2 mechs to help out with that. And goes in range of a mech. Remember as well, no bonuses for the mech itself, so we'll have to take a shot versus Tabata tank, which honestly may not go that great. Bike, tank, bike. Now I'm starting to see a chain of bikes being employed in the field. Definitely take the shot there with the mech. Oh, deletes her CO unit. She's going to redeploy in this battlecopter. Very nice. And you can see there the big retaliation damage. She sees the other mech there, so she did forward deploy the mech there first. Very, very nice. After the comm tower now, no one has her own comm towers at the moment. Oh wait, did she take that shot before the comm tower gets captured? Didn't pay close enough attention. If she forgot to do that, that's a mistake. This tank may be in range of Tabata's tank, which probably gonna get that charge for her and get that shot off. Does CO the battlecop there. Even on open ground, Tabata's tank still menace. Tabata needs a fallback for tank and probably join it with another tank. We got a very good number of mechs on the field. Maybe Tabata should invest some more anti-airs and recons help deal with all the infantry, particularly the mechs, so probably some anti-airs. And since you know she's fighting against Snowwind, there's a good chance she does deploy herself into a battlecopter, because the +30/+30 is too hard to ignore. No, she capped the counter before taking the shot. That's good. Does take a shot there. Tabata could push forward this tank here. Helicopter, tank, and infantry. Takes out the tank there. Decides to go back onto that city there. Maybe going for better repairs, and maybe better just to join. Got a Duster. Actually, against Snowwind, Duster is actually going pretty good. Good chance she gets loaded in the battlecopter, and Dusters are still perfectly fine versus infantry, which she's also going to employ along the field. So Duster is an interesting option, but I think it is a good option. It's the infantry. It's the infantry. It's the tank. It's the infantry. Spots the bike. And there's a lot of targets on Tabata right there. Maybe this tank will be at 6 health, so maybe she can push forward for tank attack and then join with the 5 health tank. Problem is, it's the mechs that are going to pose an issue. Probably going to see another mech forward deployed here again. Snowwind right now is at 23,000 income versus 20,000 income. Tabata's also losing this flank as well as getting a lot of pressure on this tank flank. Does join there. Does take out that mech. Does get a first strike on that mech. Save her command tank a bit of abuse. Of course, got the battle cop here with in total +55/+55. Comm tower has been captured in total by Tabata. But she needs something over here. Maybe best go for a battle cop to help her spawn up north. Right now, Snowbone is lacking anti-air. Duster's actually going over that direction rather than over here. Paul doesn't see the battle copter just yet, that's why. May have been better just to charge forward and not deviate northwards. Does get hit there. Anti-air is in range. 4 deploys a mech there. Won't be able to catch the last spot there. Nor where the command tank is currently at. Top does have 14 energy, or top does have 22 energy. This is a good amount of energy. But she may want to join it up with this tank here. No one's at 14 energy. Anti-air takes a very good hit there. Tank does put another shot into it, does not take her down. Down to 1% health, so maybe it was a bad luck roll or not good enough luck roll. One of the 3 things. Duster's coming over here to strafe. Of course, we've got 2 tanks in this region. He's out that mech there. This battlecopter, the command copter, can be joined with another command copter, or regular battlecopter. Maybe take a shot off a regular tank there, but may just want to just stay out of range of the anti-air and then join. Resupplies herself though. And I'm pretty sure the resupply of 1 HP does not cost any monies. You see she's at 27,000. Does fall back there. Joins. T-copter down south. Anti-air, tank, and lander. It's the mech there. Puts, joins. Top is at 22 energy. Getting 1 pick will hope could allow the crack this entire formation. Because Tabata goes from assassin slash duelist, which she gets plus in radius, she becomes a wall break. This is a wall. In fact, she could become it while attacking a target. And then she can allow another unit to push forward there and potentially also plus down over here to get another shot. What I'm saying is, imagine in this situation, Tabata's tank goes right here and say kills off this infantry 1 hit. Now she, with +1 radius, she can put a unit right on where that infantry was, kill another target with a +6% firepower. Target right there, another attack. Granted, 3 defense stars from the forest, but still. Not to mention also another one perhaps right there as well. She becomes able to smash through walls with 1 radius, though not perfectly. And of course, to pop it all off, she could just summon a nuke. Medium tank battlecopter. Tabata could take out this battlecopter this turn. She just needs a bit of a spotter. Okay, can't identify the damage until spotted. And that was... with our cast of vision, we know that was the worst spot to park the bike. But the anti-air will be able to get a good shot there and at least knock out the command copter. Tabata's already at 42 energy. Once she gets +1 radius, she could easily get her superpower in no time. She could be struck by at most 1 mech and a tank or 2. So Tabata's tank could go down this turn. Be a little bit difficult. She does want a bomber there, so if she destroys that tank there, she could drop portable nukes. Honestly, putting herself into a bomber is actually not that great. Because bombers are already good at killing stuff. Don't need to make it be great at overkilling stuff at that point. Tabata could deploy out her superpower next turn. She needs 17 energy. She has a clear 9 energy here. Then she has to pick off one of these outlying infantry units there, then boost off onto it. Tanks here in a good push forward. I think Tabata should try to get her nuke this turn. Oh wait, no, there's another 8 health tank here, so... She needs 17 energy, and here's 17 energy right there. Duster can push right here, attack, take out the battlecopter. Tank doesn't have to move, take out this tank there, pop the super, could probably nuke this formation, or maybe hit the 3 tanks up here. That entire flank is now crushed. And not to mention she gets plus 60 global. Very important up here. And not to mention the bomber has plus 60 while at it. All these units are getting one-shotted. The mechs are basically... This flank is destroyed. She can probably get one okay shot with this mech. 60% defense. It's probably a bad idea for her to attack. She just needs to pull back the full health mech and probably just try to split up these forces in hiding spots and just use them as stalls. The bomber up here is going to start nuking anything uncontested. There is a anti that could head up north. This bomber, remember, can't hide on cities, but I don't think anything is in vision range to spot at this moment. No, the bomber remains hidden. We'll keep an eye on where the anti-air's going. Does seal the duster, which is actually probably not a bad idea. Particularly with the bomber on the field with our castle vision. Rocket infantry and forward deploy a mech. And that anti-air did go down south, which means this bomber is going to have air supremacy. More energy, not great. Hits the anti-air. Duster strikes battlecopter. Of course, went a little bit too forward. Anti-air is still in the region, though. Bomber's actually heading down south. I thought it would have bombed over here. Maybe not enough vision to feel safe to commit, which is actually probably a good call. Even though with our cast vision, we know it's safe enough to start decimating this flank. But if you don't have vision, sometimes it's a good idea not to take the gamble. Duster gets in a bit of a dogfight. Snowwind's at 13 energy. It's has command tank, but 7 health is still a lot of firepower. And I mentioned there's a lot of fraction health ones there, so we'll be able to start picking off units as assassin/duelist. I don't know what to call it. Assassin's probably the better term than duelist, but she can still at least duel. Assassins also assume they can't duel. Oh! Ow. Well, there's one counter the bomber. A 7 health infantry unit. A bunch of angry men shouted hoarse language, stopped the bomber in his tracks. Medium tank, battlecopter, infantry, and infantry. And the Duster's in range. Oh, the trap. But to be fair, the Duster would have been in range either way, due to the fact that the bomber was heading down south. The Duster is at full health, but still couldn't even at least get any bit of damage there before being knocked out. Yeah, also the bomber should not push down south and range the Duster. Overall, that was a misplay, just made even salt to add through salt in the wounds. It's the Duster, does take out the Duster there, reset the superpower. Battlecopter up north. Pulls back to the city there, 13 energy. Anti-air, and tank. Finish off the bomber. Medium tank does hit the anti-air, knocking off the mech. Medium tank, of course, now parked in south of the city. Needed both ammo and health. Infield never hurts. Right now, Snowwind has 139,000 versus 105, so it has about a turn advantage. Duster, Tank, Infantry, and Recon. Does get trapped with a bike. That was on a scouting run either way, so not a big problem. Talbot's at 19 energy, so needs a bit more than one kill in order to get +1 radius. It's the medium tank finish off there with the battlecopter. Snowman's at 28,000 income. Tabata's at 24. Managed to get all the way over there. In fact, the comm tower could start being captured, though we do have a bike nearby. Tank somewhat nearby. Rock gets a good first strike on in. Mech does strike the tank. Finish off a couple bikes. Hits the tank. 1 HP battlecopter gets a nice scouting run. Good hits on that tank there. Hey, maybe it could be merged into Talbot's tank there to get at full health. Bike, infantry, battlecopter, and probably another mech 4 deployed. Does get a good shot there. Does finish off there. It takes the battlecopter. It's on top of the city, so it doesn't have to merge there. Could probably fall back to the city to get a bit of extra health. Takes at least a decent scout, so even at 1 HP, you can at least get a good amount of scouting information. Tank, anti-air. Answer 110 versus 155. Snowman has a nice advantage. Snowman's at 19 energy. Tabata's at 29. She get +1 radius, so that's when becomes she a really big threat to say the least. Maybe Tabata should attack the bike there, let the anti-air nuke. No. Trying to think how I would play this Tabata. Right now she's behind. 175 versus 96. Hitting that Duster with the CO zone could probably one-shot it. And so Tabata would need to park her tank here, somewhere it can probably still strike and get 1 radius towards it. So a lot of things could help out with that. Some rounds of that tank. Finish off the medium tank. Gets the 1 energy for that. 8 health anti-air could take out the 6 health battlecopter, and the 4 health anti-air could strike the Duster. Does not take her out though. Good amount of damage done. Tabata's at 38 energy, and her command tank right now has 9. T-Copper's actually almost out of fuel. Tank, anti-air, and tank. Rocket advancing. Remember as well, if Tabata's Firestorm acts exactly like Stern's Meteor, the indirect meteor will value the rocket twice. Does not take out her tank there. 40 energy. Let's see. It is possible for her to get her superpower. Can she? Can Tabata deploy her superpower this turn? It means she cannot move. And there's a 9 health and 10 health tank here. Or a 4 health, 9 health there. So she can deploy a superpower. But this anti-air cannot take that shot against the mech. Something has to move right here, put a shot on that tank, and then something on where this tank's at, take a shot against the mech. That's the only way. That's the only way that she can pop her superpower. She does take the shot there, so she cannot deploy a superpower out this turn. pulls back either way, joins with the 8 health tank, very nice. She has a superpower, also gets +1 radius, which may be a bit important this turn. I don't think I've ever seen a game where Talbot launches 2 firestorms. Tank, and medium tank. Rocket strikes a tank there, open up the gap. Of course, I have to fight through a lot of defenses. Hits the anti-air, Keep the medium tank away from this formation. The chance of the Talbot firestorm rocket landing in this region is very likely. Let's see, Sturm's Meteor had to target a unit directly, if I remember correctly. I can't say that's the same in Tiny Wars. Oh, now she put an infantry unit right there. Yeah, there's a good chance the Meteor will strike that infantry unit directly. Though it could strike right here, that's very likely. She's not popping a superpower just yet? Got 179 versus 103, 179, let's keep an eye on that. Looks like she's not popping a superpower. +1 radius is very nice, don't get me wrong. She can help influence where the certain meteor will drop based on taking out some targets. So she would have popping now, very likely strike this infantry there, striking the rocket, medium tank, and a couple mechs. No superpower this turn. Does strike the medium tank there. Talbot's tank is exposed, but not many things can hit it, and hit it well. The +1 radius for her aura is very good. You can see how little damage they're doing to these tanks. Right now, I think the firestorm will land right on top of the spike, if I hazard a guess. Could strike these 2 medium tanks and lander there. Does prevent that compound from being captured. Hits the battlecopter there, making some good progress. Hits the rocket. No firestorm this turn. Good shot there in that medium tank. Right now, Snowwind has 33,000 income versus Talbot's 22. She needs to get some capture game going. T-Copter makes it back home with 11 fuel. Tank, anti-air. So right now, Talbot cannot play the value game. We also got 40 energy for Snowwind. That formation's getting a little bit too clumped up for my liking. I think I found a good target for the Storm Meteor. Oh god. That is just a horrible placement there. That just asking, hey, nuke me. Beat Gandhi. No Firestorm. That T-Copter suggests it can be loaded with infantry, but I really think Talbot needs to put more pressure over here. Send tank and recon over here to help harassing that area than some units to boot. Because right now Talbot has such a horrible income. 24 units versus 34 units. Down by 10 units, down by a third income. And down about, what, 40,000, 50,000 on the field. We do have an aircraft carrier deployed in the field. I mean, Snowwind seaplanes are immensely strong. But this is quite an investment. The reason why Snowwind seaplanes are great is because it can resupply its own ammo and fuel, as well as a bit of health. And actually, the Firestorm may actually land back here. Unless the indirect double taps the rocket. Got pretty good advance here. Takes out Snowwind's Duster. That is a big loss there, and pretty good assault here. The +1 radius is overall being very good. And Snowwind moves pretty close to her superpower as well. Now she probably should either seaplane and park on top of the HQ. Can always park on top of the airport if needed as well, if that's too dangerous. Anti-air tank and bike. Rocket falls back, hits the anti-air, but with a Raid Aura. Makes some good attacks there. The problem is that may be not great. T-Copter does inside of the aircraft carrier. It can be launched out next turn. There's a seaplane produced. Making some good progress. Takes out a very good number of units there. Yeah, looks like holding on to the CO power was definitely a good call. Not deploying out because you don't know where land is always a good call. Even though that we saw some really good opportunities, the 2 radius aura is causing so many issues for Snowwind. Because all those units are +60, +60, so our tanks are fighting better than medium tanks, I believe. Right now the value is pretty evened out as well. Though with the front lines collapsed, she will be able to get some good shots on in. Seaplanes on top of the HQ. Got some anti-airs on the field. T-Copter can still be launched out. Well, then again, she did deploy the seaplane before it got launched out, so oops. Pulls back the tank there, hits the mech. Hits the tank there, takes out tank. Puts some rounds with veteran anti-air as well, takes out the tank there. Anti-air just falls back to the forest for a bit of ambush, very nice. Keep your anti-airs hidden, so they're ready to strike. Their job is to shoot aircraft, nothing else. Anti-air, battlecopter, tank, and bike. CO'd tank there, but in range of an anti-air. And Tabata's tank goes down because of the rocket. Tabata could load herself up into another tank or battlecopter this turn. With seaplanes in the field, probably not a good idea to load herself up into a battlecopter. Could be make an argument to load herself, try to push forward this anti-air to the HQ, and then CO the anti-air. Oh, I was going to see where it can go, but let's go to the infantry in there. Problem is, Tabata's even less income now, 19 versus 36. This is probably really causing Tabata some issues right now, is the lack of income. CO's a battlecopter. Tank anti-air. Let's got a tank there. Tabata does have anti-airs possibly in range of that seaplane. Multiple seaplanes not in range. This one will need to fall back to snow when it get resupplied as well. Does hit the seaplane there, strikes that. Does take out that unit there, takes the mech, strikes the top of the snow or Snowwind's seaplane directly. That rocket's in range of the anti-air though, so one of those anti-airs are likely, both the anti-airs are likely going down. Let's see, I'm curious as well. And do almost 4 damage there. Against this tank, 66 damage. Takes out the 5 tank of the rocket, takes out the anti-air there of the unit. Hits the other anti-air, puts around there, hits the tank there. Pulls back a little bit there, has +1 radius, 47 energy. I think at this point in time, Snowwind is just going to start running away with the game. Largely thanks to her superior income. Tabata did not put enough pressure up here, which is a little bit of a tall order to ask, honestly. War tank, battlecopter, tank. Duster. She probably could ICU Duster next turn. Though, one thing that could be smart for Snowwind is not to take out Tauta's battlecopter. It's the anti-air. Takes out Tauta's battlecopter there. Or deploys a mech there. Tabata has free reign up north to capture some of these properties, but she right now is at 94 versus 225, not to mention 30,000, so 94 versus 250,000, or 248 at this point in time. It's sea play there, giving Snowwind a superpower. She could forward deploy a bomber next turn. Nope, fully surrounds her seaplane now. I think she's probably going to save up money for a big forward deployment, isn't she? Goes for a mech. Didn't realize she fully surrounded it properly. Snowwind's turn. Scouts forward, rockets good strike there. Though she may not deploy a superpower. Pops a superpower, captures the HQ. Problem is, can't deploy any ground vehicles. Oh no, there's actually a shore there. Or deploy a war tank. Forward deploys a bomber onto that spot there. And Tabata does resign there. This android saying, "Thank you for watching," and on to the next replay. Now on to the replay that's submitted to me. But actually, before I get started, I'm probably going to need to use a restroom. Please give me one moment. My apologies, I'm back. Now let's get started. Greetings everyone, and Great here for another Advanced Wars Daisy Run Tiny Wars replay. So on the right side is the green not Judy. What's her name again? Mira. We have Motemon. So on top left side, or just left side, is the red Lee. We got Bench Warmer 2. Your money's on bench? Well, guess we'll find out soon enough. When it comes to the COs, both these are custom COs. Lee here actually uses Gregor's what's it put it? Artwork from the Valkyria Chronicles. He has standard boarding cost, 3 radius, 36 to 60. And when it comes to CO zone, provides all units get +10/+10, and of course gets +1 movement range if they start the turn from within the CO zone, which is pretty nice. It sounds incredibly powerful, but it's honestly just okay. And for superpower, you get Sidewinder. Simple enough. When it comes to Mirror, she has 0% boarding cost, so she's absolutely free, has 6 radius, no CO's extension, 45 energy, so a pretty cheap superpower, no CO zone effects, so it's completely meant for charge generation, and of course provides 1 damage global. Nice and simple as well. Very easy charge up. And see how large it is? It's very easy. Oh, since they both also support no special music, she COs the gunboat. That is interesting. It is free. You can always delete it later, but it has good coverage. But never thought about COing the gunboat there. That's interesting. Remind me, can HQs hide naval units? Defense bonus, yes. Hideable only ground, so the gunboat does get spotted if something gets in vision range. This map is a 3-base map, 1 airport. We got the strong side, weak side mechanic. Strong side is 2 bases. Weak side has an airport. How weak? A lot of times weak side has airports. We don't usually deploy stuff as often to the airport. And when it comes to this map, there's a good number of super plasma. A couple mountains far behind for a bit of coverage. Decent amount of cities and forests for hiding and for defense. Comm tower's a corner, but looks like pretty securable. If you lose your comm tower, it's on the weak side, so could be threatened by the strong side. Hard to say. Lee does load himself up in this CO zone, so you can see next turn himself and this infantry unit will get plus 1 movement range. But we probably won't move this unit because it is capturing a property. Blair deployed in the field. I guess the capital doesn't have to shed to hide the gunboat in. Yeah, likely not. It's part of the gunboat that was on the museum that's occupying it, right? This is our gunboat. It's on display. Oh, also still armed, so don't worry about that. It can only shoot naval units, so yeah, it's armed with torpedoes, just don't worry about it. Oh, both players have a flare down south. Tank, flare, and infantry. So it looks like Mira has gone for double flare. Mira's not captured a comm tower just yet, while Lee has. Does spot the bike there. You monster. Got an anti-air as well, so if the flare were to fire here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if the flare fires, or something just simply pushes forward and spots it, the anti-air will be in range, deletes the gunboat. Wasn't doing much either way. Tank, recon, and bike. Oh, the gunboat got scuttled, and now it'll sink the bottom of the HQ. The sinking of the land Titanic. Wasn't that a Futurama episode? The unsinkable land Titanic. Got a recon and battlecopter with another recon here, and commit space skip. Seals the bike down south. Counter does get captured with no interference. Takes out the infantry unit there. In 5 energies. Units starting to push their way forward, of course, up north. When it comes to units in the field, 75 or 72, so still pretty even. Definitely stony, not so much briny. Now we got artillery up north, so we got artillery, battlecopter, and recon. Tank in the center to start putting pressure on this very same units there. Flare gets a strike. Tank falls back to the city there. Artillery advancing, battlecopter as well. We do have an anti-air somewhat nearby towards the battlecopter. Recon top the HQ. There are some shores in the middle map there, so Greyfield can always summon out a forward battleship or aircraft carrier, or a forward gunboat. Or a battleship to sink the cruiser or the gunboat on top of the HQ. I mean, that's sort of the job of a battleship, to sink gunboats, right? Well, infantry unit over here does have 10 energy in total versus 11 energy so far. Gets a good shot there. Lots of targets in front of the mirror to get some good power generation. Bit of a standstill at the moment. Lee can easily close the gap with his own aura. But right now, they're all pretty close by each other, so they don't really need to take time to close the gap. Bike, tank, and battlecopter. 22,000 versus 24,000, 12,000, or 1,000, or 120,000 versus 113. Not too much up happening up north. Artillery in defense position. Very nice. Battlecopter. Tank. And infantry. Here's a 21 energy. Yep. That could be quite nice. Boost forward a rocket 1 tile. After all, we know how slow rockets are. Gotta get that closer to the HQ. Or maybe deposit right next to a mountain. Though, on another note, reminds me of Wargame Red Dragon, the Red 4 faction. Their lighters actually do have smoke rocket launchers. Nice little idea. Have your lighters have smoke rockets in order to cover their advance. Actually a pretty good concept, honestly. That would be interesting. How would they do like a smoke effect in this game? If there were ever another Advanced Wars game, they could try implement smoke launchers as a unique way, like a secondary ammo for artillery. Where it just creates maybe a small plus tiles of where it applies Fog of War. I'm not sure. Applies Fog of War and influenced by hiding. Mirror's heading up north with decent force. Looks like I'll be crashing on through. HQ's down south though. So it looks like both sides going to try to push forward their strong side. Battlecopter, medium tank, extreme infantry. I could have sworn this was probably going to be anti-tank. Terrain stars, that could make sense. Maybe terrain stars in as well in Fog of War games creates hiding spots. Then that could be a simple 1 tile? I don't know. Infantry, flare, battlecopter. So double flares. Anti-tank and tank pushing up north. Mirrors at 21 energy. Both sides are massive forces. Adding 1 defense star. Couldn't make HQs have 5 defense stars. I don't know if that's a good or bad idea. Anti-air tank. Leery's right now is at 18 energy. Got battlecopter artillery. Hit a strike there, and his elite unit. Good, receive tank shots. Anti-air battlecopter or anti-air recon artillery and battlecopter. Gets a good strike there. 20 energy. She can't get enough power charge this turn for a superpower. So next one she can pull out her superpower. Goes to the column tower. Gets a good shot there on the artillery. This column tower is not being threatened, so this overaction could just push forward. Yes, forces can sweep, start engaging up north. Right now it's 185 versus 195, so it's very even at the moment. Mirror sets go for day-to-day funding. Park an anti-tank on a 5-star terrain star with smoke and dare the enemy attacking. Dare to attack Reichstag. Then you have to send the infantry when they outnumber you 10 to 1. Yep. Tank, battlecopter, and mech. Mir does have a superpower available. Number of units close by. The push forward's infantry unit there, so you could charge up superpower this turn. Does clear up the capture up north. .44 energy. Hits the artillery. Hits the pike. He has the superpower available. Of course, has +1 radius, can help push some of these units up north as well. Next turn, he can plow his Sidewinder. Bomber bike. Infantry. Mirror should pop her superpower. It does pop the superpower. 1 global damage, leaves right now 189 versus 177. The front lines have definitely collapsed into each other, so won't take too much to get a lot of good shots off. And looks like the counter will be captured next turn. Down south, to start threatening the comm tower down south. Tank. 196 versus 166. Superpower in return. Somehow he has the good guy music as opposed to bad guy music, because after all, Gregor was a bad guy. Picks off a unit there. Strikes Mira's tank there. She does not have a unit on top of the HQ. It's the anti-air. Bomber is advancing. Does take out the anti-air. It does stop to capture the comm tower. I thought that was going to be captured. Hits the anti-tank there with the infantry sprinting its way forward. Battlecopter, tank, infantry. Hits the tank there. Hits the tank up north. Battlecopter hits tank. Tank hits tank. Tank hits tank. Tank hits anti-air. Anti-air hits tank. Blair hits tank. Anti-tank actually falls back and take a shot there. Battlecopter hits tank. Tank hits tank. Bike hits infantry that's captured the comm tower, and infantry hits bike that's next to the comm tower. Does not see any of those units there, okay. Could see the recon next turn? Anti-air, tank, or anti-air. So she may be on the CO the recon next turn. Takes out the battlecopter there. Recon hits infantry. Bomber takes out the anti-tank. Hits a mech, hits a tank. Tank hits tank. Battlecopter hits infantry and hits the bike. Battlecopter, anti-air. Artillery, infantry. Recon's the... Well, seals the recon, hits the tank, hits the anti-air, hits the bomber. Hits the bomber again, flares over here, tanks goes down. 23 energy, 32 energy. She's probably going to get enough power charge for her superpower this turn. It's the tank. Yep, she has enough for her superpower. Tank, anti-air, and tank. Instead of 158 versus 125, so she has a pretty good advantage at the moment. Lee's infantry is still alive. That's the medium tank. It's medium tank twice. It's the anti-air. Really straightforward. He shot down against that tank there. Battlecopter hits tank. Yep, very good counterattack, but also another good hit by Lee as well. This game will continue. The front lines have collapsed on each other. They have, with the day-to-day income, Mira has slight advantage. Nice global damage there, which will really help out. Lee's now at 33 energy, gets +1 radius. Takes out the flare. Hits the battlecopter, hits the anti-air, hits the battlecopter, hits the battlecopter, hits the tank, and does take out the tank there. Great attack, another attack here. Counterattack, secondary attack, I don't know what to call it at this point in time. The continuation of the brawl, but looks is heavily going in favor of Mira. T-copter, mech, tank, tank. And Lee has resigned. This Angrade saying, thank you for watching, and on to the next replay. Before I can start the next replay, I actually do need to use the restroom again. My apologies. Been drinking a little bit too much fluids right now. Apologies, I'm back. Let's see. Next replay. I've got to mention Montemon did actually send me that replay. Hence why I don't say who's going to win. Because most time, to be honest, most players actually submit in replays, they win. Though it's all, I always give props to people who remember to, who submit in replays that they lose. Did I do this one? Yep, I did this one. Forgot to delete it from my list. That player. No, let's... It is a good amount of time. Yeah, it'll be fine enough. Greetings everyone, and Grade here with another Advanced Wars Days of Ruin Tiny Wars replay. Spawn on the right side as the red Lin, we got Olomi. Spawn on the left side as the green Hawk, we got Siler SK. When it comes to COs, of course, Lin is unchanged for the cartridge counterpart. Standard boarding cost, 1 radius, 36 and 60. All units get +10/+10. All ground units get additional +20/+20. When it comes to superpower, we'll apply all that globally, plus all your grounding gets additional 2 vision range and can see through hiding spots. Hawk is, of course, a custom CO in Tiny Wars. Standard boarding cost, 2 radius, 3 expansions of 30, 70, 120 with max energy of 120. His day-to-day, of course, mixes the standard +10/+10 plus its inherent +10% offense from the cartridge. And of course, you get Black Wave at 50 energy, and you get Black Storm at 100 energy, allowing you to get a save of 20 energy left over. Usually a lot of games, good games from him. I think he's a very active player to say the least. This map is a 3-base map, 1 airport, strong side to weak side mechanic, the airport on the weak side, and a good amount of defensive terrain on the weak side as well. Comm tower as well. This map also has an odd characteristic, the fact that it has an odd number of properties. This city right here is dead center. It's symmetrical with itself. Is it heretical that a map has odd number of properties? Because nearly every other map has a even number. Two awesome seal themes, I would like to say. You got the happier but strong rock and roll versus the heavy metal drums. Or the dark sounding, evil sounding metal drums. But just to be frank, this is the only song that I ever think of that where involving metal drums not being Hawaiian. Or Caribbean or island, oceanic, Polynesian. Ooh, tank there. Looks like commits double base skip for a tank on the weak side. She may seal her tank there. That probably should be a comm tower and see people go shit. Comm towers are weaker in this game. I don't know. I sort of like the dual strike comm towers better, where it applies percent offense and no defense. It makes it a bit more impactful than somewhat even of +5/+5, effectively neutralizing each other, making it like minuscule difference. If they're ever going to make some more tile sets for Tiny Wars, I would like to see the dual strike comm tower as a tile set which provides just offense. The swap of the model for the dual strike style, which is like a pair of like radios on top of a pyramid, right? Bike tank. Lynn has CO'd her tank here, and Hawk could CO this tank here. Does not vision this tank just yet, but Lynn should have vision of that tank. Of course, nowhere to reach it. There's infantry in the way. She will retain vision of that 8 health infantry. Anti-air infantry, and capture the airport. Anti-air actually arrived a little too early. Does push forward and take out that unit. Artillery, tank, and recon. So yeah, I think Lynn pushed her tank too far forward. Should not be in range of Hawk's tank there. Gets a great strike there. Actually puts the tank right there. Could have sworn that tank will take another shot right there if the infantry is covered. Guess not. Pulls back her tank there. Gets a good shot at the infantry unit there. Up to 20 energies. She may join with this tank here, but probably going to not to join just yet. 6 health is still usable, and a full health tank and a 6 health tank will provide a bit more presence just off one single full health tank. That's boosted up quite a bit. I guess you agree with me as well about taking put another round in that tank. Because even if there was another tank that rolled up, I think he would have been fine in the end. Right now, Hawk's at 27 energy. Gets a good amount of energy there. She's now at 33 energy. Capturing the city there. She's at 46 energy, pretty close to a CO power, but should not push forward for command tank there. Hawk could deploy out his power next turn. 9, 4, 13. Actually, if this infantry unit gets spotted and +1 CO zone now, he's able to deploy out his power this turn. Sacks his unit there. Hits the tank there, but now in range artillery, which he does have vision of right now. Probably a little bit too late. That was from that last move. He's at 49 energy. Definitely should have tried getting the power, I would say. Missile, tank, and infantry. The missile knows where it's at, for knows where it's not. Lynn could deploy her superpower this turn. Won't help her on this flank, but would help her push forward over here. Possible superpower, not to mention provides good vision globally. Good picks up north. Not to mention she does have a good amount of defense now global as well as offense. For example, 40, 45, infantry unit 1 HP, so it's affected by it because it is a ground unit, it's not ground vehicles. Tank battlecopter commits base skip. Hawk employs power this turn, but extra power charge before popping out is a good idea. Launch the black wave. Lynn still has her command tank back here. The extra defense being very useful right now. Missile, or no, anti-air, tank, infantry, and battlecopter. Push forward for tank there. Of course, without +1 radius, it is a little bit limited what she can do for aura. Does take out Lynn's tank there. She does another tank on top of his HQ. Would CO this tank or this tank. Artillery would be at 6 health next turn, so maybe argument to go for this tank here. Battlecopter did a good strike, but finds the anti-air at the last minute. Wrong moment. Does not spot the missile there. Is out of range. Does hit Hawk's tank. Picks up the anti-air, COs the tank in the center. Tank, and bike. Hits the recon twice. It's that tank. Hawk pops another power. Missile is getting the range of that battlecopter, or is in range. It is indeed in range. Medium tank, artillery, and artillery. Lynn right now has 24,000 items. Hawk has 24,000 as well. This leads me to suggest there's one property that's still neutral on the field, but I'm not sure where. This map has an odd number of properties. Oh, right there. That property is still despicably neutral. We'll know if Recon's still doing his job as a Recon. Does get some good shots there. Anti-air can push forward to one of these cities and be a good spot. Tank, tank, tank. It's a tank there. It's the regular tank, the command tank. Battlecopter, anti-air, flyer, and infantry. It's the battlecopter. Hits the missile. And not to mention now in minimum range of the missile. Hawks at 22 energy at the moment. Anti-air, tank, tank. Hawk maybe applies power this turn. Just need a little bit more hits. 7 health infantry is a good target. Needs 4 more damage and can pop out his power. Okay, so the battlecopter falls back, so no power this turn. If the tank struck the infantry, he should have struck that before pulling back the tank. Nope. Oh, he does have his power though this turn, or got charged up with the movement up here. Trying to flip that property. This property is still despicably neutral. Takes out that infantry there. Bike, tank, and tank. It's the unit capturing the property there. Interrupts both captures. Pops the power. Good number of medium tanks in the center of the map now. And serve 135,000, Lin serve 80,000, so Lin is behind, though she does feel like she has better field control at the moment. The extra defense did save the battlecopter. Hits the artillery, hits the infantry. Tank, anti-air, and bike. Medium tank infantry. You think does strike the regular tank there, but those does go in range of the artillery. And sir, 151 versus 101. Does strike the medium tank there. Hawks has 7 energy at the moment. Making massive progress over here. Got a medium tank up stop. Maybe a little bit too far forward, honestly. Central property starting to get flipped there. 25,000 versus 23,000 cup. Battlecopter, tank, tank, and commit space skip. Does take out the bike there with a 1 health battlecopter. More medium tanks there, so despite we didn't see a anti-tank. Tank infantry. Hawks now rotating up north with sizable threat. You could also strike this artillery if a tank does do that. Pulls back the medium tank. Does not move the artillery. Lands at 20 energy. Some good rounds on those units. Does put some good damage there. Takes out the battlecopter. Interrupts that capture there. 3 health infantry still continues the capture up here. 1 capture progress remaining. Tank. Yeah, I think these forces are going to run out of steam pretty quickly. Got a good number of tanks here, but got this flanking force and intercept the reinforcements. Pretty good counterattack overall. Another medium tank there. Medium tanks overall appear to be a good call. That was a good trap there. Finds a medium tank there. Finds another regular tank there. 30 energy. Though looks like Lynn will capture this comm tower, giving both in her favor. Though the battlecopter I think can interrupt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Battlecopter is in range. Interrupt. Strikes a missile there for 1 point of damage. Looks like that. Oh, does capture the comm tower there. That battlecopter was already moved, my bad. So Lin now's both comm towers, is very nice to have. Right, construct the center, takes out the tank there. Battlecopter hits the medium tank. Medium tank does get finished off. Good strike there. Hawk's at 35 energy. Plenty of targets in front of him, so should be able to pull his power next turn. Pops the power, barely, with perfect energy remaining. So tank and anti-air. Does spot the anti-air there. I think it does work better with Days of Ruin. I've never seen this map being horrible. It always feels pretty good for Tiny Wars, at least. I think overall Days of Ruin was a vast improvement of previous games. With the tiers of units being a little bit reduced, maybe the medium tanks could use a slight bit of defense buff, but that's about it. But I feel like they got the balance pretty good in Days of Ruin. Other than a couple things where I think Dusters need a cost reduction. Right now, what, Dusters are 13,000? Or when I think they could actually... Honestly, Dusters could receive a cost reduction almost down to 9,000 to be equal to Battlecopters. Since they are meant to hunt Battlecopters and can hit infantry. As a bit of utility, I think them costing the same as Battlecopters would actually be pretty nice. Capturing those properties down south. Does get a good strike there on the medium tank. Hits the missile quite nicely. Yeah, the only thing the missiles needed a real buff was just plus 1 range, and I think that was actually all it really needed. Plus, there's not... any aircraft are cheaper overall. Though I would say in Advanced Wars by Web and Dual Strike, have it able to hit stealths when stealthed. Oh, looks like I'm going to be threatening the HQ, as well as that's the city there. The despicable neutral cities also has been captured a bit time ago. Ox at 28,000 income versus 151. Lynn's at the 86,000 in the field, which is not great. Does spot the medium tank there. Of course, we'll be able to interrupt the capture down here, no problem. She's at 47 energy, so pretty close to another superpower for her. Battlecopter keeps his distance away from the missile with plenty of space. medium tank, bike, and artillery. Battlecopter, bike, artillery. And another artillery. Hawks at 40 energy, Lynn's at 47. And there is, of course, a pretty good target right there. Make that 57. That was 3 energy she needed, but it's out of her radius. If she would have moved the tank right there, she could have had enough for our CO power next turn. Medium tank, bike. Does hit the infantry unit there. Rocket artillery bike. Instead of 193 was 120, so Lynn's still pretty far behind. In hopes for capture. May see a big, massive tank conflict in the center. Hawks are 40 energy, and now there's multiple targets within range to get the CO power going. Hits the medium tank twice. She has her own CO power available. Of course, won't be able to apply that next turn, but the extra radius is going to was pretty nice. Though actually not really needed based on the current unit placement. Hawk can get Black Wave next turn, potentially even Black Storm if my offhand math is incorrect. Medium tank hits medium tank, but is in range of the medium tank. Hits the bike, does not spot the artillery. There's Black Wave. Probably could move forward, engage. He was in his own CO zone, so he would have got power charge there. So I think that was a bit of a misplay. Lynn does take a hit there with her tank. They want to pop her superpower this turn, but there's a lot of targets in front of her, and some of her stuff is a bit wounded. Anti-tank, and infantry. Pops superpower, of course, gets some good spotting. Deletes something there, or with the artillery, I should say. Delete it with artillery. Hits the anti-air. Hits the artillery. Hits the battlecopter. Hits the artillery. Hits the regular tank. Hits the bike. Yeah, it looks like Lynn's in a particularly tough situation right now. Medium tank, and bike. Takes off a good number of outlying units. With Hawk right now, 29,000 versus 20,000. I think that's what's really helping Hawk. Flared fired. Tank, bike, and battlecopter. 185,000 versus 76. First capture takes out artillery. Good shot there. It's the medium tank. It's the battlecopter. Joins there. Battlecopter, tank, bike, and commit space skip. Hawk is going to get a good amount of power charge this turn. medium tank, and artillery. It's the anti-tank with the bike. Lynn's getting a good amount of power charge this turn. Does get trapped by the 4 health anti-air. Hawk will be able to apply all his power this turn. It's the medium tank. Pops the power. Hits the Lynn's tank there, knocking it out. Catching some outline properties. Yep, looks like I think Lynn probably should throw in the towel now. Artillery, infantry, and battlecopter. Tank, bike. Bike, and battlecopter. Does hit Lynn's medium tank there. Artillery advancing in range. I think you may be watching the game a little bit late. That was about 30 minutes ago, the previous game. Battlecopter, medium tank, and bike. Yeah, right now, there's nothing much more for me to say. It looks like Lynn is done for. Tank, and infantry. Pops a nice little black wave. And now we do have the HQ being captured. Medium tank, and flyer. That was interrupt the capture. does find the artillery there. Plus join capture onto the command tank. HQ Park has 4 or 6 capture progress remaining, so the 4 health bike will take another turn after this one. Or another turn after the next. And it just resigns. The Zangrade saying thank you for watching, and on to the next replay. I'll have time for one more replay tonight. Let's see, I have 2 from last week. I could, oops, not that button. Let's see. Could do this one. The other one I have possible, actually 2 others. Much longer. Yeah, let's do this one here. Greetings everyone, and Grade here for another Advance Wars Daisy Ruin Tiny Wars replay. Spawn on the south side is the Yellow Will, got Chan Cho. Still have no idea how to pronounce his name. Spawn on the north side is a blue Greyfield guy. We have Greyfield. When it comes to COs, Greyfield of course has been buffed from the cartridge counterpart, reduced sporting cost of 30%, 3 radius, 30-60-60. And all units get plus 10+10. Naval units, seaplanes, and battlecopters get additional 10% offense and 40% defense, which is Wayland level defense, but for battlecopters and seaplanes only, and the occasional battleship you may see on this map. And for superpower, of course, it provides 10% plus 10+10, but also recovers all fuel, ammo, and materials. All naval units, battlecopters, and seaplanes get additional plus 10, plus 40%. Temporary reports and temporary seaports can deploy unweighted units, including seaplanes. Will is unchanged for the cartridge battle counterpart. Standard boarding cost, 2 radius, 36-60. All units get plus 10+10. All direct ground units get additional plus 20% offense. And for superpower, gets plus 2 movement range. So, let's go and get started. Let's see, I also can't get over the Sprite Mare Nay versus Dead for sure intro. I am not sure what you're referring to. It must be something about the Fog of War stuff. I'm guessing you're talking about Chrome Verde, this map here. Either way, we do have this map is a 3-base map, 1 airport in the corner on the weak side. Comm tower is also next to the HQ. If that gets captured, probably have already lost the game. Ah, howdy. I am horrible when it comes to names. I guess Fimbulwinter with a capital 1 is somewhat cold-like. But when I think of Fimbulwinter, I think of Age mythology. We do have the first spike by Will. Got triple infantry here. Got it. More infantry by Will, saving 3,000 funds. Greyfield has 9,000, so he could go for a tank this turn. Goes for a mech. And artillery and commits base skip. I was expecting a tank, not a mech and artillery. Tank, infantry, bike. Comm tower could be captured, but not being captured first. There we go. Not like there's any fights there. Greyfield seals an artillery piece. That's interesting. You see here, he only gets the plus from the CO benefits and also plus 10+10. So the artillery is not too special at the moment. Definitely a cheaper option than COing a tank. It is also on the weak side, so it can actually buff the battlecopters to come out, so that maybe his plan to have nearby battlecopter buff them while also being in a somewhat usable platform. And if battlecopter gets hit by a 8-tier, the artillery could be in range. Definitely interesting. There's some play there. Oh, it's Greyfield Guy's signature CO unit. Oh, I guess we'll find out how well he does it. He does also have a rig over here to help rig the game. Also can help carry the mech. He's go for a CO already. Oh, fair enough. I think of most time I just see most Greyfields I usually see the mode of a battlecopter, which is quite understandable since they're just as durable as Wayland's battlecopters. Does get a tank on the fields. Use for the mech, he can pull out a temporary report over here, get some ambush spawns. Overall, ambush spawn battlecopters I think are generally the best just because they're cheap, but seaplanes are still excellent. Wheels now at 13 energy, Greyfield is at 10. Oh, that infantry is now in range. All in the artillery strike. Nope, gets trapped and exploded. I suppose CO unit can, CO artillery can one-shot infantry, though I probably should slow down and see how much damage it can do versus a unit on top of 2 defense stars. Enough to one-shot infantry unit there. I wonder if that's luck roll though. It is, of course, fully vetted in +10/+10. Guess we'll find out soon enough. He drops the capture down there by pushing forward. He does put the temporary report there in that open spot there. How fitting. He does spot the rig there. Got, of course, tank and recon over here. He has some mechs in reserve, but not in too many fantastic spots. Well, we'll see how strong our CO'd artillery is versus the infantry unit in a mountainside. Actually does a fair amount of damage. With 2 less defense stars, it was a reliable one-shot now, wasn't it? Yeah, he's doing very well with the CO artillery. Much more than I expected. 30 energy versus 22. Does deploy out the temporary airport. And nothing more temporary than permanent than something that's temporary. Also does hide the rig there, so it has to be spotted. It does provide both air and ground hiding. Does get spotted there. I think as well, Greyfield should try keep this airport occupied, prevent it from going down. Because if he gets superpower, he can bring in a whole sortie of aircraft in melee. Will goes for Duster for the sortie. Gets a good power charge there, 48 energy. I wonder if he should have focused on the other infantry unit that gets more power charge going. Maybe could have been a better play. By the way, good amount of damage there. Infantry max before tank hits the recon. Will has his tank, another tank, and each battlecopter here. Tank. 51 energy. 53 energy. He can deploy out his superpower next turn. He did do a almost full spin last turn, so has only 5,000 bank. Oh yeah, there is this guy here. Whoop. Actually, that could trap the Duster. Will does pop his superpower late this turn. Allow him to push forward. Duster does not find the infantry there. Is he going to trap the bomber? I wonder how easy for Will to actually mouse over that infantry unit there and get trapped. Release the gunboat. And now he has his superpower deployment field. He has the airport in his hands. And unlike Andy, he knows what the airport is. Battlecopter. Sacks that unit there, sacks that unit there. He still has 19,000. You go for a C, does use battlecopter strike, battlecopter goes for another battlecopter strike the infantry unit there. 1,000 funds remaining. Maybe he could have kept that battlecopter on top of the temporary airport. Oh well. Duster to strike the battlecopter. Does sack it, does not hit the infantry there. Grayfield may be a little bit of an incompetent commander, but he's at least not Andy. Not Grayfield guy, I'm talking about the personality of the CEO himself. Anti-air tank. Double duster by Will. Takes out the flare. Battlecopter hits the tank there. The artillery has taken a bit of a beating, but luckily it's more of a unit just want to keep in the back line, keep safe either way. Joins the battlecopters, hits the duster. But it's not done and dusted. I'm going to say that joke way too often. Anti-air tank. And the artillery does actually pull back quite far. He's at 51 energy, pretty close to the superpower. The rig has not deployed out another temporary airport. Deletes that unit there, whatever it was. Bomber strikes the tank there. CO tank hits anti-air, which did use a scout of the battlecopter. Flare hits flare. Duster heading up north. Tank, medium tank, T-copter, and infantry. Grayfield has 51 energy, nothing in range, so he's got to push forward and get at least 9 energy within range. That's 8, so maybe go and try to get towards that recon. Put it right here, I'm guessing. Puts on that city. So it looks like he will not get a lot of power charge this turn. Does get trapped by the 1 health Mac, that's not great. Does take a Will's tank there. And that's all energy he'll get. He'll get 3 energies this turn. Anti-air tank, answer 107, Will's turn is 108, so he has about a full turn advantage. Takes the battlecopter there. Bomber hits the artillery, hits the anti-air. Right now he needs a ambush spawned fighter or seaplane to deal with that bomber. Maybe go for his own sortie of dusters. Battlecopter, tank, and anti-air. Oh, there's a superpower. I think a fighter. No, a fighter would be double tapped by the dusters. You may want to try some joins to get some money back. He doesn't have too much money to bank. Well, right now it's 27,000 versus 23,000. I don't know. Maybe 1 seaplane. Full fighter. Does not take out the bomber. Oh. Was that? Oh, maybe just want to interrupt the capture. So that tank there. There's a flare. He says his full health anti-air over here. Can Charlie strike this duster here? Ends turn of 102, Will starts turn of 90 after repairs. Some good shots over here. maybe ready to sack the 7 health Duster into the fighter. Get some damage on that fighter. Bomber takes out 2 health tank there. Hits the mech instead. Yeah, should probably avoid pulling out more air units. T-Copter's probably fine enough. Yeah, it would definitely make a fighter overextend if it's trying to chase down a T-Copter. Takes out the bomber, hits the Duster. I mean, the amount of Dusters in the field, he probably did skimp out a decent amount of anti-airs. We do have an a couple anti-airs over here he has to be careful of. Over here, there's nothing to stop a fighter to claim air superiority. Could I for a missile? Does not think of the mech there. The mech wins twice. I don't know why, that seemed a little bit too funny to me. Mech, medium tank, and battlecopter. He does have, of course, a couple T-Coppers, so he can make mech play work a little bit better. He does have 26,000 in coverage 24. Tank. Fighter falls back to the APC. Oh, he had a hero's death, that's for sure. Gets in range of the command artillery. That artillery has a target-rich environment in front of it. A little bit too rich, honestly. Though not rich enough for power of money. Okay, so the anti-air there. Will ends the turn of 129 versus 99, so Will still has about a full turn advantage. Got a couple of strikes in medium tank. It's the anti-air. It's the anti-air. It's the artillery. Maybe the 1 health battlecopter should fall back to the temporary airport. Does fall back to the temporary airport. Fighter, just keep at bay. Fighters have high mobility, so it can at least fall back, or just protect his artillery. Because fighters can simply flap around above a missile platform to keep away medium tanks. That's how that works, right? Which actually is somewhat realistic for battlecopters, depending how low they are, or helicopters in general, in order to prevent movement underneath it. Because have you ever stowed underneath a helicopter before? The last time I was underneath a helicopter was a Black Hawk, and it was, well, intense, to say the least. We were doing some trainings with cargo nets and all that sort. Good hits there on those forces. Greyfield guy has another CO power available. Maybe save some monies. Flare tank didn't save much money. I would say go for infantry or recons. Skimp out to get a bigger sortie going. He only has the 1 temporary airport right now. Usually Greyfield has like 5 because of 1 brig. But only 1 right now. Oh, not to mention, speaking about downdraft from aircraft, there's also one reason why hover cars probably won't exist. Because the downdraft would be significant. Anything underneath it would be not really standing all too well. Constant hurricane winds, effectively. For those who are metric, maybe I should say typhoon. Yeah. Medium, or got another rocket artillery. Could deploy a temporary airport there, but just probably meant to pick up the mech. It's the infantry unit here. Anti-air, and flare. Mech is a good strike on the anti-air. Looks like we got a bit of a front line being salvaged by both sides. Greyfield still has a superpower available. Maybe with the front line sort of being salvaged like this, maybe he should get another temporary airport over here. There's another artillery, infantry, and artillery. Infantry, rocket, and artillery. Will's trying to push it forward, closing distance. Got some good hits across the front line. With the amount of battlecruisers in the field, it's probably a good idea to go for ambush spawn battlecopters. Those a little bit off the side at the moment. Probably can pick off any target on the farther edge though. 148 versus 148. Will still has his day-to-day income, so he still has a full turn advantage. But now it's Greyfield's turn, and he does not have to worry about distance all too much. The only thing that's going to be out of range is this mech. And everything in the back line, of course. Pops the superpower, tank hits anti-air, mech hits tank, anti-air hits battlecopter, battlecopter gets hit by fighter. Takes another battlecopter, tank hits tank, tank hits tank, tank hits command tank, ambush spawn bomber takes out Will's command tank. Bomber shadow jets in and takes out the Seagull unit. Infantry and double base skip. Anti-air does strike the bomber, but thinks no, he doesn't. He only gets plus some defense because it's not a battlecopter or a seaplane. Gets trapped there, probably from this tank. Tank, and mech. 25,000 income for 25,000 income, 126, 125, so pretty even. Bomber can fall back to temporary airport, takes another battlecopter. That fighter's now in fully vetted. I don't think it's an ace just yet. I think it's, what, 4 kills, not 5 kills? Nope, that was his 3rd kill. Look at my delayed streams, notice I only had 2 kills beforehand. Oh well. Tank, battlecopter, and infantry. Looks like this mech will flip that property. Hits the fighter there. Mech. Tank, and battlecopter. Does take out those units, takes out the anti-air, takes out the medium tank. Hits the flare, tank. Will's down to 89 for 137. Of course, still day-to-day, so it's still only slightly behind at the moment. Another mech. Rocket takes out the unit there, artillery takes out the unit there, gets trapped by the artillery, I'm assuming not by the bomber. Excuse me. By the bomber. Helicopter's down 25 fuel. Could have probably moved the artillery a little bit over to let that rocket in range to get a bit of power charge going. Same thing with that shot there. Unless you're just going to keep in the forest, which is an okay option as well. Keep it nice and hidden. Another mech here. And could have got some power charge there if that's the end location of the artillery. Rig, flare, and our battlecopter as well. Well, this tank could be hit pretty hard. That tank goes down, that tank gets hit. This tank finishes off that tank. Right now, Greyfield's at 56 energy versus 22. And the only thing, actually, Greyfield can get his superpower this turn. The rocket is in range of the tank there, which will give enough power charge. He can now pull out his superpower. Does not. Got another tank. Tank, and flare. Does spot the rockets. And Will's rocket's actually getting low on ammo. Has 2 ammo remaining. Does get trapped there. Hits the mech. Bomber is hidden. Nothing in range to deal with that battlecopter mode. The fighter had to make its way back over here. Artillery mech fighter. Pop superpower. So maybe we'll see something to strike that battlecopter. Battlecopter strike battlecopter. No, battlecopter hits mech. He has 7,000 funds. You can always go for ambush T-copter. How damning. It actually takes time to shoot the battlecopter. Oh, joins to get enough money to get another battlecopter. Not to mention, yeah, just joins to get another battlecopter there. Also, I was not expecting that. Of course, he does get a resupply across the front line, so anything that was running low on ammo is very nice. Very handy for limited ammo things, such as seaplanes. If he had any seaplanes. Does take out the rocket. Meteor, tank. Does moves for rock or CO artillery there. Gets some good shots on that medium tank. Takes out the battlecopter. Gets trapped. Got a fighter in range as well. That fighter can hit that fighter, no problem. Needs a bit of a surround. If mech moves right there, that would be great. It is not, did not move there. If this tank can move right here, that would be great. Joins there. Tank hits the artillery. Going for another temporary airport. It's a T-copter. So either the fighter or the bomber may go down, although I think the max efficiency there. Oh, is something running out of fuel? That T-copter may have ran out of fuel. Don't remember how much fuel it had left. Fighter does take out or put a good around the bomber and is occupied the HQ preventing capture, such as from this infantry unit. The 8 health fighter will have trouble taking it out. T-copter lands right there. I guess that was a different unit that exploded. There's a flare. Greyfield's at 28 energy. Hits the artillery, hits the mech. Ah, a T-copter ran dry. I guess he had just had another one. I was looking at the wrong one. The max fed fighter should probably hit the full health fighter. Does. Technically one. Bomber falls back to temporary airport. Tank, mech, and battlecopter. Duster does manage to strike the fighter, or battlecopter. T-Copter finds the bomber on top of the temporary airport. Blue's maximum veterancy fighter will win the dogfight. Buster could clean it up though. Tank, T-Copter. Insert 81 versus 138. Bomber takes up the 3 elf tank there. 46 energy. Takes out the T-Copter. I'm pretty sure this fighter's now an ace with 5 kills underneath its belt. Tank mech. Duster interrupts the capture. Fighter does take out a battlecopter. Mech battlecopter. Artillery. And looks like just using indirects to slow down Greyfield's advance. Flare does spot some stuff. Which was his command tank, or artillery. 47 energy. Plenty of targets in front of him, so he can get his superpower this turn. I guess he is still alive there. He can actually potentially escape now. I've not been keeping attention to that thing there, but it's still there, providing a small amount of intel. Tank and mech. There's another temporary report there if needed. He does spot the 5 elf infantry this time. Don't know if he spotted that earlier. He hasn't run into it. 60 energy available for Greyfield. Greyfield pops a superpower, bombs the unit there. With the spotting, takes it out as well. So 500 unit managed to take out the battlecopter. Clean sweep over there. Battlecopter takes out the mech. Yes, infantry unit not 2 turns away from the HQ. Hits the artillery that's maximum veterancy. Takes out the max vet. Seaplane strikes Duster. And this one has plus 50% defense. Infantry, and commit space skip. And Will has resigned. This Angrade saying, thank you for watching, and on to the next replay. As I mentioned beforehand, that shall be my last replay tonight. So everyone, thank you for watching, have a good evening, and get some good